let's review order of operations and how to solve a problem that has multiple operations. So you might see a problem that has adding and dividing and multiplying and exponents all in the same problem. Okay, that is the key that you need to be using PEMDAS, okay, or the order of operations strategy. When you see a problem that has multiple operations, okay, adding, subtracting, and dividing, or just adding and subtracting, you have to do it in order or you're going to get the answer wrong. So let's review the order, okay? We always start with our parentheses, and remember, parentheses looks like that. We have to solve whatever is inside those parentheses before we can do anything else. Also, if you have multiple operations inside the parentheses, you have to follow order of operations when you're solving that as well, okay? Next is going to be our exponents. Remember, our exponents is going to be that little floating number at the top. Then we have multiply and divide, okay? This is going to go in order from left to right. If multiplying comes first in your problem, you're going to multiply first. If division comes first, you're going to divide first, okay? So let's fill that in on the other side too. We still start with parentheses. Then we go to our exponents. But down here, if division comes first in our problem, it's okay to divide before you multiply because you're going from left to right. That is only okay when you're talking about division and multiply and which one of those you do first. You still have to do parentheses and exponents before you get down here. You can only mix the order with multiply and divide. Okay, only multiply and divide can be mixed together. And finally, we have addition, which we know is adding, and subtraction, which is minus. Oh, we didn't put the signs up here. Multiply and divide. Multiply and divide. All right, back to our adding and subtracting. Our adding and subtracting is going to go from left to right as well. Okay, what that means is if subtraction comes first, you can do subtraction first and then the addition. But again, you have to do parentheses, exponents, and multiply and divide before you get to add and subtract. Okay, you can't switch up this order. You have to take care of all the parentheses, all the exponents, then your multiply and divide, then we can add or subtract. If your problem has both, you're just going to go in order from left to right and solve it. All right, let's take a look at an example and kind of pull it all together. So, I see a problem that has a minus sign, a multiply sign, an add sign, and a divide sign. Well, that's a lot of operations. These are operations. So when I have a problem that has multiple operations, I need to use my order of operations strategy, PEMDAS. So I'm going to go ahead and write it out. And I'm also going to write it the other way, just to remind me that multiply and divide and subtract and add need to go in order from left to right. And we're actually going to talk about that in this problem. Okay, let's take a look and see what we have in our problem. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is look for parentheses. Do I have any parentheses? No. Remember, parentheses look like this, and I do not have any of those. So I'm going to go ahead and cross out my P because I don't have any. Now, let's look for exponents. Remember, exponents would be a number with a little number on top, and I don't have any of those, so I don't need to worry about it. I can cross that out. Okay, let's look for any multiplication and division. Well, I see it. I have multiply right here, and I have division right here. Well, Miss Salamontes, which one do I do first? You do whichever one comes first, okay? Start at the left of your problem, and work your way to the right. So if I'm walking, oh, there's multiplication. Okay, multiplication comes first. So I am going to solve that first. So let's do that. Let's box it and multiply. 7 times 3 is 21. Now, I just rewrite everything else. Okay? Now, let's keep going for our little walk. Oh, no multiplication or division. Nope, not multiplication or division. There it is. Okay, we have a division. Let's solve it. Box it to know this is what I'm solving. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then I just rewrite everything. Now, I don't see any more addition or subtract, or not, excuse me, any multiplication or division. I think I've taken care of it, so I can go ahead and cross that off because I'm done. Okay, now I do see adding and subtracting. Again, Miss Talamontes, which one do I do first? Well, let's take our little walk. We start at the left. Oh, subtraction comes first, so let's take care of it. 55 minus 21. Take care of that first. So 55 minus 21 is going to get me 34. And then I just rewrite everything else. Now, the only thing that is left to solve is this addition. Okay, now all we have is 34 plus 5, which comes out to be 39. If you do not follow those steps in order, you will get it wrong. You cannot just, if you use a calculator, if you're one of the students who uses a calculator, you can't just type all that in the calculator. Okay, you have to do it in order, just like I just showed you. All right, let's look at another example. If I'm taking a look at this problem, oh man, I see parentheses. I see a number smushed with the parentheses. I see a minus. I see a times. I see exponents. There is a lot going on in this problem. So when I see these multiple operations, I know that I need to use my order of operation strategy, PEMDAS. And I know that I'm going to write it out, that's a D, so that I don't forget any steps. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, first thing we need to look for on our list is P, which is parentheses. And I do see parentheses in this problem. I see it right here. We have to solve what's inside those parentheses first. So we have 6 plus 8. 6 plus 8 is going to get me 14. Okay, now I can just rewrite everything else. Remember, you have this 2 smushed against the parentheses. When a number is smushed right against a parentheses, it's multiplying. So you could write it a couple of different ways. Okay, you could keep the 14 in parentheses and write the 2. Okay, so you could do it like that, or you could just write it out 2 times 14. Okay, and I'm just going to, just to keep it a little bit simpler, because I know that we're used to seeing it this way, I'm going to write it that way. Okay, so now what I can do is just write everything else, bring it all down. Okay, all right, I am all done with parentheses. I don't have any more of that, so I can go ahead and cross those off. And I just realized that I meant to write this the opposite way, subtract then add. Okay, let's take a look at the E. Do we have any exponents? Well, we do. It's right here. I need to solve for the exponents next. So this little number tells us how many lines to draw. The big number goes inside the lines and we multiply. So 3 times 3 is 9. So that tells me that 3 squared is really 3 times 3, which is really 9. So now I can rewrite everything. I know my dots look a little funny, but they're my multiplication dots. Okay, all done with the exponents. I don't see anything else. So let's take a look at multiplication and division. Okay, again, let's go on our walk. Let's start here. Oh, there's multiplication. So let's do multiplication first. All right, 2 times 14, which is going to get me 28. And then I just rewrite everything. Okay, we took a little break on our walk there to stop and tie our shoes, so let's keep going. Oh, there's another multiplication. I got to take care of it. There's no division this time, but there is multiplication, so we have to take care of it. 5 times 9, which is 45, and then we just rewrite everything. All right, I do not see any more multiplication or division, so I'm ready to move on to my add and subtract. And the only thing that I see that I have here is a subtraction problem. And we have a 28 minus a 45, which the 28 is smaller and we're taking something away from it. So I know that I'm going to have to be having a negative as my answer. So if you are one of the students who uses a calculator, you would just type in 28 minus 45 and get your answer. If you don't use a calculator, you need to use your integer song. Okay, so we're going to draw our line, and we have 28 and negative 45. So we're going to use our integer song. Same signs you add, different signs subtract. Well, I'm looking at my signs and they are not the same. 28 is positive and 45 is negative. So different signs subtract. Okay, so we're going to take 45 minus 28. And that gets me 17. Now I just have to figure out if the 17 should be positive or negative. So remember our song goes, keep the sign of the bigger number. But what it's really saying is keep the sign of the absolute value of the bigger number. So looking at the absolute value of 28, it's 28 because absolute value is always positive. The absolute value of negative 45 is 45, okay? So which one's bigger, 45 or 28? 45. So now let's go and look at the sign. Well, it's a negative, so our answer is going to be negative 17.